Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Isaac. I'm here with the exercises on data types from Chapter 2 for the Launch Code Java track. We will be reviewing the exercises as a group just to make sure that if you have any questions or have any concerns on what you were doing, we can address them directly. As you can see, this is what I have on the screen. Um, if you've already taken a crack at these and something's confusing you, feel free to watch this. If you're just confused by some of the syntax, feel free to watch this. If you have any questions, make sure that you post below in the comments and I will get to them as soon as I see them. So we'll go ahead and get started with our exercises. So for our instructions, we've already done these. We've already forked over Java Web Dev exercises. We have to create a new class for each numbered exercise, and we can name the classes whatever we like using proper Java naming conventions. So let's go ahead and open these in a new tab and let's swap over to them. So naming conventions for class, start with an uppercase, package all lowercase. So yeah, we can just do them all uppercase. So here you have a walkthrough on how to create a package in class. Fairly simple stuff. You just swap over to your IntelliJ, which is what we'll be doing now. And here, what you will actually want to do, I've already created my exercises folder, but you would just click on source, right click, and you would select new. And here you can choose Java class, you can choose file, you can choose package, etc. I will be clicking on, you would click on file, but that's not what we're doing right now. For now, we already have our exercises folder, so we'll click in there and we will actually do a new Java class. Now the name of this class we have to identify, and I don't know why you guys can't see that, but let's see if I can add that on there. Let's see, window capture. Let's see, yeah, okay, there we go. And let me just drag this down the screen a bit. There we go. So this is what you'll see. You can choose from class, interface, whatever you want to see. We're just going to do a class and our name for our very first assignment, which we can pull up on the screen again. There we go. For the very first class, we should be doing, let's see, hello world. So simple enough. We'll just swap back over to our IntelliJ. And we'll name this hello world ext because we're extending it. So, well, not really extending it. We're just adding new functionality. We'll get to extending classes and doing everything else further down the line. But for now, we're just double click there. And it will ask you another pop-up, which for some reason you can't see either. But hang on, let's see. There we go. It will ask you, do you want to add your the following to your Git? Just hit yes, add, and boom. Then we have our Hello World package. So according to our assignment, which I'll pull back up on our screen, what we need to do is we need to write a Hello World program to prompt the user for their name and greet them by name. So we'll do steps 3 through 5 to create our new Hello World class inside of our exercises folder. And we will have to add this import statement at the top of the file to include scanner. You can copy and paste this here, but yeah, or type it out, up to you. So we'll just copy this. We'll swap over to our IntelliJ, which is right here. And we'll go ahead and just import that. Import java.util.scanner. Okay. So now that we have that, let's swap back over to our source browser real quick. There we go. So now we have to declare a variable type scanner called input. Now, very important thing to note, and It's weird because this really should have given it to you in advance, the actual IDE, but we'll do it manually. So you should have your main class here, which is public static void main. And the arguments passed into here are string args. If your IntelliJ did that automatically, great. If it didn't, now you know what you're missing. So let's swap back over to our instructions. Pardon, I guess an ambulance just drove by. Okay, so we need to declare a variable type scanner called input. Simple enough. We will add a question to ask the user. Create a variable to store the user's response using the scanners.nextLine method, which is right here, and use concatenation to print out the greeting. Right click / control the arrow next to your class, and run the program. So we're going to do this entire block in one swoop because it's kind of annoying to have to swap between the windows. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and declare our scanner. So scanner input equals new scanner. And remember, when we're asking for information, we use system.in. Okay, so now we have to actually print out on our command line what we want to ask. So we'll do system.out.println. And here we're going to ask, what's your name? Question mark. Then we're actually going to go ahead and take whatever is provided in via our scanner. So this is where they actually wanted us to use a string. First, we're going to declare the type. Name equals input, because that's our scanner from up here, dot next line. Why are we using next line? Remember, depending on what kind of value is passed in and how you want to manipulate it is what your next would be. Sometimes it could be next int, next string, next line works for this. And now we'll just return a quick system message, system.out.println. And here we're going to do just some general string concatenation. Hiya, comma, space, plus, what is name? All right. So now if we actually talk through our code, this should execute on run. The scanner is declared. We ask whoever is running the program what their name is. We assign it to a variable here, and then we return that information with hiya, comma, and then the name variable. So let's go ahead and run it. And here you can see what's your name. We're just going to put Georgie. And when we hit enter, hiya, Georgie. A little it reference for y'all. Okay, so that's exercise 1. We can consider this one complete. Just make sure you save your work. I'm paranoid. I'll hit Control S, Command S for Mac users, I believe, a bunch of times. So it is what it is. Let's go ahead and move on to the next exercise. I've got them pulled up on my screen now. Perfect. So now we have numeric types. Write a program to calculate the area of a rectangle and print the answer to the console. You should prompt the user for the dimensions. What data type should the dimensions be? We follow steps 3 through 5 to create a new class inside of our exercises. We add an import statement at the top of our file to use scanner. So first we create the class. We have to import scanner. We have to add the scanner object to handle whatever the user gives to us. We add a print line to prompt the user for the length of the rectangle. We define a variable to handle that length. This is where we need to know what data type we're using for this. And we'll actually need to use a different scanner method than what was used in exercise 1. And we'll repeat the previous two steps for the width. We'll use the length and the width values to calculate the rectangle's area. Print the statement using concatenation to communicate to the user what the area of the rectangle is, and run the program to verify their code. So that's a lot of steps there, but it's more simple than we think. So let's go ahead and get to it. We will minimize this window, and I'm sorry, I'm still learning how to use OBS software. So there we go. So we right click on exercises, go to new, Java class. We have our same window pop up that did last time right there. This one is just called area. And we'll just hit OK, enter. And we have the same window that asks, hey, do you want to add this to Git? Right here, we'll just hit add. All right, easy enough. So here we have our public class area. Remember, we're going to first import our java.util.scanner because we have to actually ask whoever is bringing this stuff in some questions. And we're also going to declare our main method, which will be public static void. And let's just do area. Well, no, actually, let's do main. String args. And we're rocking and rolling now. So first, let's go ahead and use our scanner. So scanner input equals new scanner, and we're actually taking in whatever they're putting. So this would be system.in. Okay, so input will be the scanner that we'll use. And now first, the assignment set to ask for the length. So system.out.println, and the question is, what is the length? Question mark. So now we're asking them, hey, what is this length? Now, remember, according to our data types, we could use a couple of types. For now, we're going to use double because we don't know how long the length will be. It could be something as simple as 3. It could be something much longer than that. Double is just a safe bet here. So we're just going to use double length. Remember, before you declare your variable type, you're always going to declare your variable name. You're always going to declare the type. So double length equals. Now, this is where it was telling us that we were going to want to use a different input method. So if it was a string, like a name, we could have used next, next line, whatever. But what we're going to be returned is actually a double. So we're going to use this next double. If it had a period and some trailing numbers, we could have used float. If it was like a smaller number, guaranteed, we could have used int. But for now, we're just going to use next double. And IntelliJ is smart enough to actually give you a lot of this information. So keep that close to heart. So there we have that. Now we need the width. So same logic up here. And we can actually, I'll type it out for now, but honestly, you could copy and paste the top part. So system.out.println. What is the width? Question mark. And double width equals input dot next double. Now, important thing to note here, you never want to reuse your same variable names. Like here we have length, here we have width. The IDE would error you out if you did that anyway, but just remember to change those if you do copy and paste. And now we just have basic area math, which is length times width. So we'll do double area equals length times width. And now we just return what that is. So system.out.println. The area of the figure is estimated to be, and here we'll concatenate the actual area. And I was gonna put like some like units squared, feet squared, whatever, but that's gonna hard code us into using only specific values, which we can do. But for now, we'll just leave that fluid and just pass the area here. So let's go ahead and save, Command S, and let's run it and see what happens. So let's see. We're gonna click our play button here and run. And our program just asks us, what is the length? We'll say 3. What is the width? We'll say 3. Now 3 times 3 should be 9. So the area of the figure is estimated to be 9.0. I'm not 100% sure why I did the 0.0. It might just be a weird finicky thing with double. I could be wrong. But for now, we're just going to do that. And yeah, there you have your area program. We're going to go ahead and save that. Now let's swap back over to our exercises and see what they have over there. Okay. So exercise 3, numeric types. Excuse me. Okay, so now we have to write a program that asks the user the number of miles they've driven and the amount of gas they've consumed in gallons, and then we just print out their miles per gallon. So let's minimize this screen and let's swap back over to our IntelliJ. Okay, so the other one, we're just gonna do the same procedure. Right click here and go to new Java class. And I've really got to get good with the software. Let's see. Okay. And we'll just call this one MPG calculator. Okay. And enter. It'll ask us if we want to add it to Git again. We'll hit add. And boom, there we have our MPG calculator. So the funny thing about this class is it's going to be very, very similar to what we did earlier with our area class. So first of all, we're definitely going to need to import our scanner. So we'll do import java.util.scanner. And here, let's do, there we go. And here we're going to do public static void main. And we're going to pass our argument of strings, arguments. Okay, so we have our basic code outline ready. And from here, what we're going to do is we're going to use our scanner. So scanner input is equal to a new scanner. And that will be a system.in because we're actually going to use whatever we ask for. And first, let's ask them system.out.println. We'll ask how many miles have you traveled, comma, stranger, question mark. So here we're asking them how far they've come. So we'll do a double, and you want to be descriptive, there we go, with your variable names. So I'm actually going to call this one miles driven. Notice the camel case, and we'll go from there. And that would be our input dot next double. Okay, and now let's ask them system dot out dot. There used to be a different way that it would just, was it that one? No. There used to be a way that you could shorthand type and it would do the whole system.out.println for you. .out.println. And here we'll ask them how many gallons of gasoline did your ride consume? Question mark. Oh, there we go. And we'll take whatever they give to us and do a double gallons consumed, which is input dot next double. Now we have some very simple math, which is double mpg equals, and we're initializing this variable name to already be the miles per gallons driven. So here we would do miles driven divided by gallons consumed, and we will return system.out.println. Return is technically the incorrect term for me to use. We will print out on the screen. Looks like your car vehicle, for all of the subcompact and SUV users out there, is using, now here we'll do some concatenation of strings. We'll do mpg, and we'll do another plus, quote, miles per gallon, period. And let's actually change this to getting. Oh, there we go. All right, so we've completed the functionality. We asked them for how many miles they've driven, how many gallons of gas they used, and we're giving them their miles per gallon. So let's go ahead and run this. Now it's asking me how many miles have we traveled. Let's say we traveled 30. And how many gallons of gasoline did my ride consume? Let's say 10. Yep, so now it's telling me it looks like your vehicle is getting 3 miles per gallon, which is honestly horrible. But honestly, I used to have a 2002 Ford Explorer that used to get about that, so been there, done that. So congratulations, you've completed your MPG calculator, and that's 3 out of the 4 assignments done. Now this next one's going to be kind of tricky, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to set them side by side. Can I do that? Oh, looks like I can't. That's going to be fun. Okay, so there will just be a lot of back and forth flipping. Bear with me. Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So let's see. Okay. So part 4, the first sentence of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland is below. Store this sentence in a string and then prompt the user for a term to search for within the string. Print whether or not the search term was found. Make the search term case insensitive so that searching for Alice, example, prints true. We can see that Alice is a proper noun, so it's uppercase. Here they entered lowercase. So fairly simple enough. It's just a way for us to search a string. And let's actually go ahead and copy this. Copy. Okay. And we'll actually minimize this screen. And let's see, course browser. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to create a new class, new Java class. We're going to call this one Alice. And it's asking us yet again if we want to add to Git, which we do. So we're going to go ahead and hit add. Okay. So let's go ahead and just make sure that we actually have this string stored somewhere. So let's just do string first line equals Control V. There we go. I think that we can actually do like an enter here. Yeah, and it'll let us split it up so we can see it all in one screen, which is great if you have a smaller screen, and we'll close that out. Okay, so here we have our screen and nothing else. Now, we need to ask the user, hey, what do you need to find in this paragraph? So that means we're going to use our scanner. So import java.util.scanner. Yep, there we go. And we need to set up our main argument. So public static void main we'll do string collection args, and normally, since we have to have this in there anyway, we'll just move this up. Nope. Down here. There we go. Perfect. So now we need to actually ask, hey, what do you, well, let's look back over the assignment, and let me read it on this other screen I have here. Let's see. Stored in a screen, prompt the user for a term to search for within the string, print whether or not the search term was found, make the search case insensitive. So, fun fact, a lot of when you see something that is case insensitive, it's not actually case insensitive. It's just that your search function or the string that it's searching has been either all uppercased or all lowercased along with whatever you're pushing in. So we're actually going to do that. So we'll do string lowercased text is equal to, and we can actually do this with a very simple method of string, and we'll do first line dot to lowercase. Now, if we actually let's do this dot print line, and let's go ahead and print out lowercase text, and let's go ahead and run. So now Alice is all lowercase. At the end of every sentence or every period, you see that Alice is now a lowercase dot Alice. So we're done with. So now it should be all. It should catch Alice if they put it in with lowercase. But what if we put it in with uppercase? It's not going to match because now it's looking for an uppercase A. So first, let's go ahead and do our system.scanner. Oh, no, that's scanner. Sorry. Scanner is equal to scanner input is equal to new scanner, and we're going to use system.in. Okay, and now we're actually going to go ahead and ask them what do they want to search for. So system.out.println, what term are you searching for? Question mark. Okay, so now that we have that done, we'll go ahead. Well, one thing that we also have to consider is we can enter Alice, like the book asked us to, or we could do Alice, which would not match up to this. We could do Alice, which would not match. Okay, so we have audio back. I wonder when it went out. Love that. Why does it keep going out? That's weird. Let's see. Okay, that's weird. But essentially, what I was saying was, and I'll just review this again. We have our string first line, which is our entire first line of Alice in Wonderland. We actually did a two lowercase on that first line using this method dot two lowercase, and then we printed it out, which printed out Alice is lowercase, everything is lowercase, which we did up here, and we actually don't need this line anymore. Then we have our scanner, which is asking us, hey, what term are you searching for? We stored it into a string variable, and we actually did the input.next line, but we did method chaining to make sure that it was two lowercase, because whatever you do here, whatever case insensitivity you do here, which you could two uppercase or two lowercase, you do down here. So both are two lowercase. And the assignment just wanted us to print true or false if it was there. So what is true or false? It is a Boolean. So we'll do Boolean search result. And we will do lowercase text. So now we're checking all of the lowercase text. Dot contains. We want to make to see if it actually contains our search term. And now we're just going to return it. So system.out.println. The first line contains your search. Survey says. We're going to do plus, and we're going to do the search result. Okay. So now let's go ahead and run it. Save it and run. Okay. Now it's asking me, what are we searching for? We're searching for Alice, all lowercase, enter. And first line contains search. Survey says true. Now let's run it again, and let's try to break it. So let's do A, capital A, lowercase L, I, capital C-E. Yep, it found it. Let's do what the book asked us to proof against, which is Alice with a capital A. Found it. So looks like that section is good to go. Let's go ahead and continue for the next section, and let's pull it up on our screen now. There we go. Okay. So part 5 strings, extend the previous exercise, assume the user enters a word that is in the sentence, print out its index within a string and its length. Next, remove the word from the string and print a sentence again to confirm your code. Remember that strings are immutable, so you'll need to reassign the old sentence variable or create a new one to store the updated phrase. So it wants us to print out the index of the string, its length, remove the word from the string, and print a sentence again. So we have a bit going on, but it's not impossible. We'll go ahead and get started with it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're actually going to do, we need an index. Now an index is can be a large number, but it's not going to be like a huge number or like a double. So we can actually use an integer here. And we're going to call this index, and this will be lowercase text dot index of. And if we hover over index of, I think it's supposed to, it doesn't, okay. But we're just going to use our search. Now what this will do is this will actually take whatever you input in search and assign the index of in lowercase to this index. And the index of method is not anything new, anything fancy, you can look this up on W3 and it tells you what it is. And let's actually do that right now. Let's see. And W3 schools as always for the win. So the index of method returns the position of the first occurrence of the specified characters in a string. So tip, use the last index of method to return the last occurrence of specified characters in a string. And we can actually do this. Try it yourself. And when we run this, oh lovely, there's an ad. If we were to run this, it would essentially give us what we needed over here, but we're not going to bother with that. Just know that that's what index of does. And let's continue on. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Now, one thing to note here is index of will only return the first instance of whatever you're searching for. So if you're looking for Alice, it would return the very first one right here, but it would then ignore Alice right here. If you were looking for pictures, it would return this instance instead of this instance. If you wanted the last instance, you would do last index of. So for now, we're good. Now, according to the assignment, we also need to print out the length of our search term. So now what we're going to do is another integer, and we're going to do length is equal to search dot length. The dot length method just tells you how long a word is. If it was like 2, it would return a 2. If it was summer, it would return SUMMER 6. Nothing huge there. Okay. And now let's just return this information to the user. So system.out.println, and we're going to do the search term is at the, we're going to add our index, and we will do plus index of the sentence. Pardon the fireworks. Apparently my neighbors are really enjoying themselves today. We'll also do its length is, we'll add another concatenation, length of characters. Okay, so now let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. So let's run Alice main, and let's look up was. Oh, we're having an issue. Expected error 23, line 112, 23. Up, forgot my plus sign. Let's save, and let's run. There we go. So now let's look up Alice. The search term is at the 0th index. Its length of 5 characters. So Alice is the very first line, so it makes sense. And it's a length of 5 characters, ALICE. Yep, we're good. We've completed the first section of it. Now the second section of it is a little easier. Well, easier / more complicated. So the second part is we'll need to remove the word from the string and print the sentence again to confirm our code. So remember, strings are immutable, so we'll need to reassign the old sentence variable or create a new one. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that last part now. So let's declare a new string, modded string. We're just going to declare a new string to store it, equals, and we'll do lowercase text because that's what we're actually replacing, dot replace. Now, let me actually pull up what dot replace does. Let's do replace Java. And what this part does is it just takes whatever string you have and it searches for a string of a specified character and returns a new string where the specified characters are replaced. So here we have, man, what on earth is going on with W3 schools? Essentially, if you had hello here and you told it to replace L with P, you would then have HEPPO, HEPPO, which I think it tried to do. Okay, yeah, it did. So it did run it. Okay. And let's say that we wanted to replace two L's with one single P. We would run it again. Let's see, unclosed character literal. Oh, that's why. And now let's run it. Oh. There we go, HEPPO. And the reason why I had to go from single quotes to double quotes is because we had a car with the single quotes, a character. With double quotes is a string. We have double L's and we're replacing it with a single P. So have to match on both sides. You're good to go. Now, what if we just replaced hello with P? Run it. We get a single P. What if we replaced hello with 0? With nothing. We get nothing, which is what we're going to do here. So let's swap back over to our code. There we go. Okay. So we're going to replace, and here is fairly simple. We're just going to replace the search term that they give to us with nothing. And now we're going to do a system.out.println, and we're just going to print out the modded text, modded string. Okay. And now let's go ahead and run this. And we're looking for Alice. It's there. It's at the 0 index, and it's at the length of 5 characters. Now, Alice was the first word, was beginning to get tired. Blank was beginning to get very tired of sitting in her tree. Blah, blah, blah. We have another Alice near the end, so let's see if it did replace it. And what use is a book thought blank without pictures of conversation? So replace doesn't have the same limitation that index of, well, not index of, which one was the one that we were saying has some limitations? No, I think it was index of, where it would only report the first instance. It just replaces every occurrence that it finds. So, with that being said, that completes our assignment. I hope that you found some value with this, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me via Slack or in the comments. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day to review this, and have a great day out there. Stay safe.